Hi, it is a beautiful summer day in Wisconsin, zone 4-5. I'm going to show you some more of my perennial garden, and I do have a few annuals and a few tropicals, but mostly in pots. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm walking downstairs right now. Shaky. Right now, the hibiscus is starting to bloom, and the Japanese beetles are loving it. This one here is called Copper King, and it has a burgundy foliage that I like all the time. As summer goes on, it gets a little more green, but it still gives me interest all the time. The other one I have is, what is it called? Plum Crazy. We'll see if I can find that. Joe Pye is starting to bloom, and it's a little early. Everything's early this year, about 2 weeks. We've had rain weekly at least. Maybe you heard that we also had a lot of rain, that we got a sinkhole in Milwaukee. But out here in Dousman, we're in the suburbs, we've had nice rain. About an inch or two a week. The phlox is starting to go to seed, so I deadhead it, and it'll bloom into fall here. There's Plum Crazy, but it's not going to let me show you a flower from the front. I'd have to get into the garden. Tiger lilies add that tall orange right now. I didn't used to like orange, but now it adds that pop in the garden that I like. The daylilies, I don't know what kind this is, but this is a spider, and I like it. It's one of the later blooming ones for us. And the balloon flower in front of the hibiscus. This is a later blooming daylily that is also fragrant, so I have it near my path. A lot of golds right now and yellows, but still this yellow is contrasting with the dark gold of the black-eyed Susan. Then I also put in some cannas. This one happens to be in a pot, so I can move it around wherever I have a space where it's kind of blank right now. Also the smoke bush adds that burgundy, but I'm going to trim it down this fall, probably at about 2.5 feet. It's getting a little too tall for me. I also use pygmy barberries in the garden for that burgundy, and those two I do prune down. Starfire phlox, the honeysuckle, which is near a stone path in the garden and really fragrant also. I have real common perennials, but I like repeating. Here's the stone path. Fieldstone or Lannonstone. Miscanthus, no, I think it was called a Eualia grass, Dixieland. I like it. It's really, the variegation shows a lot of white. Brightens up the area right now. My anemone, which is early also, starting to get the buds, which is pretty. Just the buds, especially in the morning when the dew is on it. Yarrow, another younger hibiscus right there with a castor bean. And I put a morning glory on this little arch. This little arch is part of a fence, no, part of a ladder that went up a silo, and it was cut in sections, and it was at the dump, so Dave and I bent it around the old oak tree, and this way I can have spring, summer, and fall in one area, planting under and behind and over. Another perennial that a lot of people don't like using is Artemisia, Silver King. But I really take out a lot of it in spring and keep it under control. But it adds that brightness in the garden, especially next to that Diablo 9-bark. Rose Campion, I have stopped deadheading now, letting it go to seed because it is a biannual. And then my blue bottle path. You want to be on YouTube?
No, give me a kiss.
Where are you going? Okay. Now this is my path down to the trumpet vine tree that I'm training into a trumpet vine, which I'm training into a tree. Part of it I lost in the winter, but it's coming back. Pretty orange trumpets. The hummingbirds really like them. Well, back up a little. I don't think I showed you my latest sculpture, and the sun just came out, so it's really bright. And I made it that it rotates again. I have a morning glory growing up this Austrian pine. Here's an unusual plant for us. It might even be native, I don't remember. It's the fleece flower. And it keeps blooming and blooming all summer long. Hot pink. I planted another miscanthus back in that area. It gets morning sun, so it gets at least 6 to 8 hours. So it'll have that bright variegated green and white. Oh, in about 2 more years. First year, they sleep. The second year, they creep. And the third year, perennials will leap. Another pretty grass is blue. Little blue stem. I put 3 clumps of there. Gets a little pinkish cast to it and looks pretty in fall with the autumn joy sedum because of the rosy pink flowers on the sedum. We'll go and look into my shade garden. This is new under here. Looks kind of sparse, but it's only its second year. And I don't know the name of the hostas. We'll start another one and go over to the shade garden.